Hello and welcome to another Leica review. This is the third part of the Leica Q2, which I am going to be reviewing. In this section, we're going to talk about the functionalities. These functionalities are very important because there are things that have been improvements on the previous version, like the 10 frames per second shooting mode. I don't know how you would like to use that, but that is going to give you advantages if you're doing, for example, shooting of a moving subject, whether they're running or the children playing or it's a soccer game. But again, here is the difficulty. If you are got a wide angle lens photographing a subject that is going to be kind of lost in a wide angle, is going to be an issue. So for that reason, again, the crop factors may come in handy. You can crop it down to 75 or 50 and get a different kind of perspective. But again, you're going to lose on the image quality. So this is the reason, if you got a fixed lens, 28 millimeters, that's what it's intended to be used at. Now, there are circumstances where you may want to use a lens that is going to perform in a certain way, in a certain manner. But thinking of Leica Q2 as a do-it-all kind of lens and camera combination, then you have to look at it like, how would I use this camera if I was going to use it at 10 frames per second? And that might be, for example, a concert where people are performing and there's action. You may want to freeze that action by shooting at 10 frames per second. Or it might be a circumstances where you want to have somebody running or doing something that is active, like a gymnastic performance or a ballet performance, and you may want to use it in that manner. These are things that needs to go into consideration if that is what you attempt to use it as. Now, there are things that we have looked at in this camera that are major improvements from the previous version, and those things to us may become redundant. But one of the things that I like about the previous version and on this version is the high quality OLED screen. What you're going to get is a very nice image quality. You're going to get a very functional camera. Now, it's not going to be the lightest camera. It's going to be hefty, but it is one thing that tells you that it's well made. It's not the plasticky construction. It's not the cheap material that is used. It is used in a way that is going to give you incredible quality. And that is what you want to do. That's why you're paying the extra, to make sure that you have something that is solid, that is well designed. It's going to last a long time. It's an industrial design camera. Now, most cameras that come out in the market, they are designed to have a lifespan of 3 to 4 years. Most cameras that are made from Leica, the M series especially, are designed to last 50, 60 years because of the mechanical construction that it had in the past. And now it's because it has quality that is come to be known as something that is going to be used for a long period of time. So this still has that beautiful solid metal body. It has very good solid lens, and because the fact that it doesn't have anything electronic inside, as far as focusing mechanism in the M series, is what makes it last. Here we have autofocus. Autofocus is very important, and autofocus is what you will be using if you're doing something like 10 frames per second. Some people look at this camera as just a purely photographic camera, but it also has the other features that we come to expect from all cameras that are being produced. Even your smartphone now for films in 4K. So 4K has become the normal standard that we expect cameras to perform in terms of video recording. As far as the photography quality is concerned, that is where the differences can make a major separation between the quality of things that you deliver and what the customers, the other people have demand. For example, I'll give you a good example. If you are, for example, photographing weddings, and your photography is one of those faded out look that people have been looking in the Instagram with, that it may not be the kind of look that you want. It may be something that is captured easily with cheaper cameras, but if you want very sharp, very detailed, very beautiful images, you're going to have a camera that and lens combination that's going to deliver that. And those are usually professional cameras that we are looking at. And for example, the Leica Q2 has that feature. It has that quality that is going to show through when you have 47 megapixels. So for anyone who's doing wedding photography, this is a great second camera to take. You can capture just about everything. And in fact, you can use this very simply by pointing the camera to a group and taking group shot and then cropping it in. Even if you get 24 or 20 megapixel photographs, those are going to be more than sufficient to have them framed or pre-printed. And this is the reason this camera now has become a much more versatile tool than the previous version. Now, if you're not using it for professional reasons, again, this is a camera that you can give to anyone with the basic steps of, learning to press a shutter and pointing in the right direction. They can capture photographs. So it made everyone be able to use this camera. And that's one of the major accomplishments that Leica has achieved with the Leica Q2, because a lot of people are afraid. They don't know how to focus with a rangefinder camera. But with the Leica Q2, you are able to do that without having to worry. And exactly the same reason why people have been so drawn to the Leica Q2 or Leica Q is the fact that it is autofocus. So their eyesight might not be there. They might be hesitant if they're going to capture a good photograph, or if they don't know how to isolate a subject. This is going to do it. And the way to understand that is to understand that what the market has been demanding is a camera that is all-purpose, and this is what it delivers. One other important feature is the macro. The macro is, as you twist the dial on the lens, you'll see the numbers change and you can get really close-up photographs. And this is something that I truly like about this lens because it is able to deliver images that are going to be exceptionally well. If you're like, for example, photographing rings, little toys, things that are in nature, like little flowers, this is something that I think you will enjoy and you will appreciate, because it's also, again, going to deliver incredible quality and incredible accuracy in color rendition. And again, I return to that. The software, the Leica software for delivering and that accuracy in colors is what is going to separate their image quality from the rest. Especially noticing the skin tones is one that I always draw attention to, because skin tones can be greenish, they can have magenta tints, they can have colors that are like on the grayish tone. So having to know that you are going to have to be able to take that photograph, that image out of your camera and be able to send it off without having to do any kind of modification or any kind of tweaking or editing is an advantage that is so important. It is an advantage for those people who don't know how to use, for example, Adobe Lightroom. It's also something that people can say, I'm able to take great photographs without having to worry about it. And the fact that you can share that instantly on multiple platforms, online platforms, is a great advantage. So in that respect, it is a good all-purpose camera, but it's not just intended for amateurs and novices, it is also intended for professionals. One other thing that I will mention, and this is something that is going to be of importance, is the fact of using the Wi-Fi. Now, Wi-Fi has become the norm in many cameras, and this is something that people use. What I like to do is import the images into a computer or a laptop and then retweak those images and then send them out, whether they are from a medium format camera like Leica S, or from Leica M or Leica Q. These are all going to make differences. Those little differences is what separates your photography from the other. So in my point of view, the number one criteria for anyone who wants to take good photographs is to first of all use a good camera and lens combination, but also be able to import that and know how to tweak it, how to make those Leica images really shine. Because what people have done, and I notice this time and time again, is they play with the settings wrong. And what happens is they deteriorate the image quality. They deteriorate what should be a great Leica character in a photograph, and they take it and make it look like it's coming from a cheaper camera or a camera that has not the right color coding. And this has been the issue with so many cameras that have come out, because they are basically designed, for example, for video, but people use it for photography. And when they are using it for photography, they see these artifacts that are characteristics of a film quality or film like that is for digital use. And then we're seeing it and saying, wow, this looks like the colors are off. And the reason colors are off is because what they have done is they digitalized video function, and then they readapt it to photography. And then when they did that, the images look off. And the reason that is being the issue is they did not take the attention and say the video is very different than the photography. In a way, Leica has been achieving a great consistency, a great balance with their Leica SL and Leica Q when they captured video, because the video looks crisp and sharp, yet does not have all those strong artifacts that you find in other cameras. Now, the reason that other cameras, the other competitors have been using that in the video is because they're trying to mimic Aries and Reds in terms of trying to capture that look. And that has been kind of a mainstream. It has been the a fashion way of, doing, this is my image, this is the kind of image that I like. But what happens is they have faded out looks, they have things that are not so sharp, and they are imitations of the real thing, and they don't deliver that quality, and the photographs suck. This is something that you should not want to have to deal with. This is the reason why Leica Q2 is a great camera for photography, and if you are also using for video, you have the ability to use it. Now, if you are going to take this camera and say to yourself, I'm going to master it, what I suggest is use this camera exclusively for a lengthy period of time. And that means take it for 6 months and use it almost every day, even if it's small objects that you photograph in your house, or if you are photographing outdoors. Even the mundane things will give you an understanding of the perspective that this lens has. The reason I say this is, and you will not find this in other videos or any other tutorials, is 28 millimeters is a very specific wide angle lens. It's not too wide and it's not too narrow. It is a wide angle that is comfortable, yet allows you to capture this wide space. So in that respect, having to understand where the frame lines are going to fall without having to look through the viewfinder will give you an idea of, okay, this will be a great distance to take from the subject so that I can capture this much space around the subject and create the background or the look that I'm after. So most people, what they do is they put the camera onto their face, they look through the viewfinder, and then they have to take steps back or forward trying to find that distance. If you are able to see the image in a 28 millimeter setting and say, okay, this is how much we're going to put into the frame, then you can stand in the exact spot, take up the camera, look through the viewfinder, and take that photograph, and you will be very easily saving yourself a considerable amount of time and avoid from potential disasters like stepping on things that you're not supposed to, or falling. And that is something that people have to learn. And for me, what I always say is, whether you have a Leica Q or Leica Q2 or Leica M, the camera is just a tool. It's a camera that is going to deliver results. Now, the difference, you paid for it, make it worthwhile. Use it wide open if you can to capture separation in the subject. If you're going to use it for street photography, make sure that you set your camera settings right so that you are able to create the image that you're after rather than randomize it and hoping that to get the image that you want by setting it to f8 or f11, which is the zone kind of photography. And if you are doing a landscape and you're doing photography of architecture, know that your settings are going to be more important and more critical than other settings that you may have in your camera, especially your aperture, because that's going to give you the sharpness, the details. And if you're shooting f5.6 or f8, these are going to make important differences in your photography. So having to learn to use your Leica Q2 is going to set your camera above the rest of the other cameras. And the best camera you can have, obviously, is the one that you carry. So it is for that reason I always recommend that you bring your camera to wherever you go. And if you attend one of our workshops, a lot of people come with their Leica Qs, and I'm going to have probably a lot of people coming with their Leica Q2s. And the process is the same. You learn to see images from the point of the camera, to understand that. And that is what I suggest that you start, and by looking at the camera and seeing it. And don't be swayed by people saying, oh, it's a great camera and you should buy it. You should buy it for a particular reason. And I recommend this camera to a lot of people because it is a great camera as an entry camera. It's a camera that is versatile camera. It's a camera that you can become comfortable using right out of the box. And that is why you can say to yourself, this is the camera that I will start and I can use as a backup, even if I move to another camera that is going to have higher specs. So whether it's going to be your Leica M or Leica SL or Leica S, whichever direction you go, you can always use a 47 megapixel camera as a backup camera that is going to give you incredible results. And I hope this has been an informative review, and I hope to see you in our next review, and I thank you for watching.